spelled with a U.
She just says
Because-
yellow.
Yeah, how we spell all
And,
the
but, you know, you have problems using the wrong syllables.
You tell them, Chrissy, get on it.
Yeah. But anyway, so there was kind of a epiphany to me, and I thought, well, I wonder if there's something else out there besides this yucca. And so I was going around, this is one of those products at American Discount Foods from Sprouts. And it was not too bad, actually. It's cassava flour and or coconut flour, chia seeds, tapioca starch, and sea salt. And so this one was, I forget what it was, but it was not as offensive. Now, I wouldn't have gone into the 80 plus that you know, wise shoppers like Mary Ann do. Or the other solution I said is just ignore this, just feel good about your products, you know.
Make your own crackers.
And so here, and, you know, so somebody asked about this. This is polenta. We, growing up in Indiana, knew this as mush,
That's right.
cornmeal mush. Now there's different kinds of cornmeal. So a lady pointed out, you know, there's grits, which are different from this mush or polenta. This is organic, and it's got what has it got in here? Water, organic yellow corn, salt, what is it?
Can't pronounce it, don't eat it.
No, I can't see it.
You can't see it.
I can't see it.
We're with you on
The
that one.
steamer millimeter here, all right.
That's why you was believing it.
Let me go to this other one over because I did, what I can do is, I'll scan it right now.
Oh, yeah, show us how it works in
All
action.
right, Blend, yeah, so I just scanned it, here it is, polenta, right here. Now, they say that this falls into ultra-processed foods, 2 ultra-processing markers. Now, they didn't tell me this in yucca right there. And let's see, okay, so what is the, see, and the nice thing when you're using it is you can talk to yourself too, and people will think you're having a conversation with somebody intelligent. But it's got carotene, beta carotene, and tartaric acid, and those. But they're saying that limited ultra-processed foods reduce the risk of non-communicable chronic diseases. What? Limit ultra-processed foods. Limiting ultra-processed foods. You gotta read everything here to make sense. Reduces the risk of. Anyway, so the whole point of this exercise is that, you know, even though I thought this was quite good because the organic and you know, so it does.
Like glue.
And coming to one of my favorite products here. Oh my, this is over top, and this is from Cheryl and Aphrodite's home state of Wisconsin. It's not only, it's Heavenly Hunks. And you guys, Mary Ann's looking for Heavenly Hunks. But he hasn't shown up at one of these potlucks in 12 years. Anyway, organic oatmeal chocolate, and you know, it's got this is something interesting here because, you know, GMOs are still not very widely understood by the public, and in the effort to confuse people, the FDA has come out with new terminology for GMO. Bioengineered, derived from bioengineering. I just read that Children's Health Defense has won, I don't know if it's a suit, they're in the process, where the they want to still be able to use the GMO designation. Or was, was somebody who was producing food. No, Natural Grocers right here.
Right.
Sorry, I just read it in their Pape magazine. That they're challenging this because they want to keep that designation of GMO, non-GMO, or GMO on their stuff. Now, you won't find any GMO stuff here at Natural Grocers. But the point is, we've been dumbed down so much that there are some products that have it. But what caught my eye, this is USDA organic, certified gluten-free, and phosphate residue-free. So, what they've used in oats, they're getting away from, they've used glyphosates as a desiccant to dry
Right.
the crops, the wheat, the oat. And of course, the residue from GMOs, the glyphosates, winds up in products even like this. So this is a step in the right direction. But, it kind of burst my bubble looking at this other thing here. So it does give you a pause to reflect. We've talked about, we don't like the term vegan. We promote the idea of plant-based whole food. That really tells it, because this is vegan. This is vegan. It ain't necessarily healthy. I mean, you can have a 600-pound man that's on a vegan diet eating this stuff, So the whole point to this little exercise, let's see, I've got one. Nobody home's left here. So we're gonna give it to the highest bidder. I don't know what's. Well, okay, now what, I should ask a question. Who can answer this question? I haven't thought of that, but anyway.
It's very high in saturated fat.
Oh, yeah.
Saturated fat content.
Can you tell us what the yucca number was on it?
The yucca was not bad. It was good. Whatever that means.
That's relative, yeah.
That's all it
You
depends.
call good.
Well,
I want it all.
Mary Ann calls it good 80-90%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Now, I bought
At
a
least 7 days.
bag of organic lentils. They're from India. It was a 150-pound bag. No, it was only 7 pounds, but it was organic. So we ran it. It was 100%. Well, there was only one ingredient there. Well, duh, that's part of the plant-based whole food routine. So when you add it, when you process this thing, this is processed like all this other stuff here. You're gonna, it gives you a pause to think about all this stuff.
So are you basically telling us what not to do and what not to buy?
Well, no, I'm not. You're all big boys and girls,
He's telling
and
us.
you all got brains. And I thought I had a brain, but it wasn't totally functioning. My mouth closed. I had double vision, had sinus surgery, then my jaw shut. It's starting to come open here. So I was. I could eat, some solids, but I was drinking my sustenance. So you get time to reflect on all this stuff. And so I get hit with Mary Ann. Oh, you gotta get this yucca thing. It's the wonderful, it's the fantastic yappa. Yeah. And just what I needed, with my other 500 apps on my phone here. I need another one, like I need another hole in the head. But it does give you a pause to think about all this stuff. And we are pretty flexible here. There's some, don't take my bag of hippies. But they're on sale, Mom. They're on sale.
Did you yucca that new product?
No, I don't. I don't dare. I'm gonna uninstall my yucca app.
I bet it's under 50.
We had to give those up.
I bet it's under 50.
Okay. I can imagine it is too. In fact, they've crossed out the
I did a couple things in it this last.
38 out of 100.
One was like
Oh, dear.
2 out of 100.
Poor.
What was that coffee?
Well,
syrup?
depending on where your curve is, 38's better than 30.
That was 38. That was 38.
That's 38, and
I'll help you
too
put it
much
back in the
sodium,
cart, right?
calories, but
We want you here next month.
but there's no risky additives.
Oh, well, that's a
Well, come
bonus.
on, you know, and just like on this one right here, the maltodextrin is probably GMO. You know, because most of the,
There isn't any non-GMO
well, yeah, because
extra.
corn, 90% of the corn is GMO. So it goes into, maltodextrin, there's what, 50 names for
Yes.
corn-related products. And so, they're counting on your, just a cursory glance, even if you're a label reader like I thought I was, but I wasn't a very good one.
They carry a really excellent book in the library in this store called the Consumer's Dictionary of Food Additives. And it's just that, a dictionary, encyclopedia, I forget,
Yeah.
but it lists out everything and where it comes from.
Well, you missed Mark's good talk, because he is an expert when he studies things, but he talked about the very thing, natural flavors. They ain't natural. They're made in, in a factory in Florida for the most part. And anyway, so that's what they've got us thinking on buying processed foods, and deceiving us, doing a great job in deceiving us.
Marketing.
Marketing, it is marketing.
They're trying to trick you to.
Question back here, sir.
Yeah. Mark.
I have a comment. If we were to put the ingredients we had in our meal tonight, I bet we'd be getting 90s and 100s and more.
Probably. Probably. I know my crackers would be.
Yeah, they're not denatured. Denatured is what happened. My mom also has a rule of denature. Once you denature something, there are 7 mineral elements that are in things. Or like if the plants can get them out of the soil,
Yeah.
and the plants put them into themselves, but they're not in an organic mineral element state, your body can't even use them. So they just rip and steal from you when you denature them. But if you don't denature them, they contribute to.
No,
Well,
May. No,
Yeah,
we
it's
have
gonna-
to-
Yeah, that'd be cool.
May, I'd take you in May.
Oh, great. Yeah, thank
Well,
you.
aren't you, if it's denatured, isn't that the best? Denature is the best way to go. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what we see.
like the
is
renature movement.
Renature movement.
We're getting confused by our fearless leaders.
Mm.
And they aren't. We saw that. I mean, it was so graphic during the scandemic. I think most people agree with this. What was happening? It was something that did help wake people up. A lot of people have gone back to sleep, unfortunately, and other issues. But yeah, so that's the whole point of what we do, is try to educate people. You got your own brain. You know what you like, and eating things, variety is the thing, and and moderation too. I once took a guy out for lunch, and the only thing he ate for lunch were patty melts. I mean, you would think that would get boring after a while. I can't be very healthy for the long term. This is back when I was eating meat. And
Last week?
no, I admit I'm a vegan hypocrite. I eat meat every once in a while, but it's not because when you become plant-based, you get sympathy for what they're doing to our livestock. Feeding them GMO corn to fatten them up. 75% of the antibiotics are fed to the animals, and it's all about convenience. And we're seeing, these kind of foods like this ConAgra that just one of the documentaries we just watched was the tobacco companies when they got burned. R.J. Reynolds bought Nabisco. So they switched into the food marketing. It's the same crap.
Yeah, petrochemical.
It's-
Yeah, it's food.
Yeah, it's the same thing. How do you wake people up? And, you know, we all didn't wake up, I didn't wanna become a vegan. My wife, became a plant-based vegan, for diabetes. I mean, I was diabetic for cancer. And, eventually, after 14 years on, I call it suicide and glifoside and, whatever, you know, I wasn't on, insulin. But I decided, hey, I picked up Neil Barnard's book on reversing diabetes, the plant-based diet. And it worked. So I haven't had, other than when I was in the hospital, when my blood sugar would go up under trauma, you know, I haven't had any drugs related to diabetes in 14 years. And, anyway, so I guess I'm just cantankerous, but anybody else have any thoughts? Who wants the last, do I have a bid on the last Heavenly
You
Home?
know how many points it is.
Oh, we
so-
got some purists.
Yeah.
Come on, who's the honest person here?
Oh, no, I have a question.
Yeah, yes, Mary Ann.
So I just wanted to invite you to next month. We are really happy and proud to announce that Dr. Sailesh Rao is going to be our guest speaker. For those of you who don't know of him, he has put together documentaries, written books. Cowspiracy was one of his.
What the hell?
What the hell? The end of, well, I have a list that aren't even on the market yet because he let me use this for his book.
Prayer for Compassion.
Prayer for Compassion, The End of Medicine,
They're
it
trying to
says
tell
The
us.
Human Experience.
They're trying to kill us.
Now, the
They're trying to
interest,
kill us.
well, let me just say this about Dr. Sailesh.
Yeah.
You know, he's advocating plant-based food. And I think he's doing a good job. But his Cowspiracy has bought this global warming narrative, which I think is a hoax. You look at who benefits, cui bono, you know, these affluent people are the ones that are controlling all this stuff. So I disagree with that. And I think maybe we need to mention to him, he needs to focus more on the non-GMO organic aspect of food, because what we're seeing, you know, particularly in his home country of India, where the likes of Bayer now, you know, promoting GMOs there in crops, and you know, moving towards this monocrop society, which we know is disastrous. How do we get people? So we're all not on the exact same page, but that's the nice thing I see, that we can have conversations about these different aspects of what's going on. You know, particularly ours is around food, and what more important thing do we have than this food? So yeah, Dr. Sailesh has put his money where his mouth is, and is promoting plant-based diets, actually. So, anyway, anybody else? Nobody else wants the, I guess I'll have to eat this myself. I'll have a little ceremony this night. before we
Yeah,
carry
under
it.
the moon, it's the summer, it's the spring solstice, you can dance naked under the moon. And
Okay.
it's awesome.
And it's our 4-year anniversary.
All right. I just want everybody to know.
It's summer
If
solstice.
I
Everyone's
said
like, yeah,
anything
we're
to
waiting. That's nothing,
I
kid.
only said it for
Yeah.
others.
Well, it can be New Year too, depending on.
That's nothing.
That's nothing, kid. Keep it up.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
Oh, you got your dish to clean up still, but my question is, what are your top 3 proteins?
Well, Cheryl, thank you for coming.
You asked me if you were vegan.